saying that Newcastle were, quotes, idiots for parting with 69 million quid for Nick Woltemade. Why did he take such a swipe at Newcastle with regard to Woltemade?
The attacks on Nick Woltemade have been relentless. From Bayern Munich boardrooms to Premier League pundit desks, the verdict seems unanimous. Newcastle were idiots to pay £69 million for an overpriced one-season wonder. That's Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, Bayern Munich's supervisory board member, mocking Newcastle for meeting Stuttgart's asking price, the same price Bayern refused to pay. He's not the quickest, he can't press, he doesn't run in behind, he's a problem for Newcastle. That's Alan Shearer, Newcastle legend, questioning whether the German striker even fits Eddie Howe's high-energy system. When Newcastle broke their transfer record to sign the 23-year-old on deadline day, the criticism wasn't just loud, it was brutal. Bayern had tried to lowball Stuttgart 3 times, never exceeding £52 million. When Newcastle swooped in with £65 million plus add-ons, Rummenigge sarcastically congratulated Stuttgart for finding an idiot willing to pay that much. The narrative was set: wrong price, wrong player, wrong fit. But that version, the one dominating headlines and fueling rants, hides what's really happening at St. James's Park. Because beneath the Bayern bitterness and the tactical doubts, Woltemade isn't just proving the price tag right. He's quietly revolutionizing Newcastle's attack while everyone's too busy debating whether he belongs to notice the goals piling up. The proof? It started 29 minutes into his debut. September 14th, 2025. Wolves at St. James's Park. For Eddie Howe, it was a calculated gamble. For Nick Woltemade, it was his chance to make £69 million look reasonable. Newcastle hadn't won a single Premier League match yet. The pressure on their record signing was suffocating. Bayern Munich executives had just publicly mocked the club for paying the price they refused Alexander Isak had left for Liverpool. And suddenly, this 23-year-old from Stuttgart was expected to fill those boots immediately. 29 minutes in, Jacob Murphy floated across toward the far post. Woltemade rose above Emmanuel Agbadou and powered a header past Sam Johnstone.
Delivers the ball for Woltemade! Nick Woltemade!
St. James's Park erupted, Newcastle's first win of the season, secured by the man everyone called overpriced. But here's what the celebration drowned out. Woltemade needed just 29 minutes to open his Newcastle account. A lightning-quick start that compared favorably to Alexander Isak, who also scored on his Newcastle debut at Liverpool in 2022. The £69 million man wasn't struggling. He was matching the player he replaced. His post-match quote revealed his humility. Murph told me, "Be ready for the cross," and it came to me beautifully. I didn't know what to do. I was just happy.
Yeah, Murph told me all the last days that he's crossing a lot. And I just closed my eyes and headed in, to be honest. And yeah, I was, of course, really happy.
The critics expected nerves. They got composure. Comparisons to Roberto Firmino flooded social media after his hold-up play and link-up ability impressed throughout the 90 minutes. This wasn't a target man waiting for service. This was a complete forward operating as Newcastle's attacking fulcrum. Then came October 1st, Union Saint-Gilloise in Brussels, Woltemade's full Champions League debut. Again, he delivered. His 17th-minute flick from Sandro Tonali's shot gave Newcastle the lead in what would become a 4-0 demolition. The finish wasn't lucky. Replays showed the deflection was deliberate, a cheeky redirect that left the goalkeeper helpless. The historical significance? Woltemade became the first Newcastle player ever to score on both his first Premier League start and first Champions League start for the club. Not even Alan Shearer managed that feat. Eddie Howe understood what he had. His potential is high. It's an exciting start for him, and he's done really well. More importantly, he is willing, wants to do the work, and wants to improve. The manager explained, "We will be doing a lot of physical work with him to get him robust enough for the Premier League week in, week out." 3 goals in his first 4 starts. History-making performances in 2 competitions. The overpriced panic buy wasn't just proving his worth. He was rewriting what Newcastle fans expected from a debut season. So much for Bayern's mockery, but the critics still had ammunition. He doesn't fit the system. He's too slow. Wrong replacement. That's where the real story begins. Here's the statistic critics conveniently ignore. Nick Woltemade averages 32 touches per 90 minutes for Newcastle, more than almost every Premier League striker except Hugo Ekitike, João Pedro, and Jorginho Rutter, all players known for one thing: dropping deep and linking play. That's not what Alexander Isak did. That's not what Alan Shearer wants, but it's exactly what Newcastle's attack desperately needed. When Shearer questioned whether Woltemade fits Eddie Howe's high press system, he revealed the fundamental misunderstanding plaguing this entire debate. Everyone's comparing Woltemade to Isak when they should be asking a different question. What if Newcastle didn't need another Isak? Woltemade doesn't stay in traditional striker positions. He drops between the lines, operating in the sweet spot behind pressing midfielders. It's the exact space that causes Premier League defenses nightmares. He has gravity outside the box, inviting pressure from defenders before releasing teammates into generated space. Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, and Anthony Elanga suddenly have a striker who creates space for their runs instead of competing for it. The criticism about his pace: irrelevant when you understand his game. He doesn't go for power in his shots, but placement. Utilizing impressive timing to position himself correctly before attacking the goal, he takes up positions in the blind side of defenders, waiting for the right moment rather than forcing actions. Germany's national team understands what Shearer doesn't. Woltemade made his senior debut in June 2025 against Portugal in the Nations League semi-finals. Julian Nagelsmann has started him as the lone center forward in all 5 of his senior appearances, trusting his link-up play and hold-up ability to bring Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz into dangerous positions. The summer told the real story. Woltemade finished as top scorer at the 2025 UEFA European Under-21 Championship with 6 goals in 5 matches, including a hat-trick against Slovenia. He helped Stuttgart win their first DFB Cup since 1997, scoring in the final. He scored in all 5 DFB Cup games he started. Newcastle are now averaging 72.3 long balls per 90 this season, increased from 60.9 last season, specifically to utilize Woltemade's profile. Eddie Howe isn't trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. He's adapting his tactics to weaponize what makes Woltemade special. Critics see a striker who doesn't run in behind. Teammates see someone who makes their runs more dangerous. There's a reason comparisons to Roberto Firmino flooded social media after watching his hold-up play and link-up ability. The wrong player is systematically proving he's exactly right. But the biggest lie? It's not even about his style. It's about what he's already achieved while everyone was busy complaining. Strip away the Bayern mockery and the tactical debates, and you see what's really unfolding at St. James's Park. Nick Woltemade has scored 4 goals in 8 Premier League appearances. More importantly, he's done it across just 618 minutes, averaging 0.58 goals per 90 minutes. That rate places him among the most efficient strikers in the league despite limited minutes. Here's the comparison nobody wants to discuss. When Alexander Isak arrived at Newcastle in August 2022, he scored on his debut against Liverpool at Anfield, an instant impact that won hearts. Woltemade matched that feat in 29 minutes against Wolves. Isak had 6 goals in La Liga the season before joining Newcastle. Woltemade had 17 goals across all competitions at Stuttgart. The overpriced narrative collapses under scrutiny. Bayern Munich's supervisory board member called Newcastle idiots for paying what Stuttgart demanded, but Bayern's own hesitation opened the door. The deal consisted of £65 million plus £4.3 million in potential add-ons. Expensive, yes, but not reckless for a player who just won the DFB Cup and topped the European Under-21 Championship scoring charts. Woltemade was the top scorer at the 2025 UEFA European Under-21 Championship with 6 goals in 5 matches, including a hat-trick against Slovenia. Germany's senior team has now capped him 7 times with 3 goals. Julian Nagelsmann trusts him as the lone striker in a system built around Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz. Newcastle's tactics are evolving around him, whether pundits notice or not. The club now averages 72.3 long balls per 90 minutes this season, up from 60.9 last season. That's not desperation. That's Eddie Howe weaponizing Woltemade's aerial dominance and hold-up play. Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes suddenly have a striker who creates space instead of occupying it. The transformation extends beyond statistics. Newcastle needed someone who could operate when Isak left for Liverpool. They needed tactical flexibility. They needed a striker who didn't require perfect service to make an impact. Comparisons to Roberto Firmino flooded social media because people finally recognized what Newcastle's recruitment team saw 12 months ago: a complete forward disguised as a traditional target man. He became the first Newcastle player to score on both his Premier League and UEFA Champions League starts. He's only the third player to score in his first 3 matches at St. James's Park, behind Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer. The historical company alone destroys the out-of-his-depth narrative. So, is Nick Woltemade an idiotic £69 million panic buy who doesn't fit the system? Or is he the misunderstood signing proving that sometimes the wrong player at the wrong price is exactly what transforms a team? Drop your verdict below.